My name is Dulcie Whitford. I'm 28 years old, and for 20 years, my parents called me the slow one, while my sister Miranda collected Harvard degrees and whispered promises of inheritance. They mocked my dyslexia at crowded dinner tables, excluded me from every important family decision, and paid me a fraction of what they paid her. But on Miranda's graduation day, inside the glittering Plaza Hotel ballroom packed with 350 guests, a stranger handed me an envelope that would expose every lie my parents had ever told about me. What they didn't know was that Grandma Eleanor had been watching the entire time. She saw everything, and she left me something that would flip the entire Whitford empire upside down. The Whitfords were old money Manhattan royalty. Our name was etched on hospital wings and museum plaques. My father, Gerald Whitford, ran Whitford Properties, the commercial real estate empire my grandmother Eleanor had built from a single Brooklyn office in 1965. By 2024, the company was valued at $92 million. I was born with dyslexia, diagnosed at 7. Letters on a page would swim and rearrange themselves like fish in a current. Simple sentences became puzzles that took me 3 times longer to solve than anyone else. My parents' response wasn't support, it was shame. When I was 12, they hired tutors for Miranda, violin at Juilliard, French immersion, SAT prep with a Princeton graduate who charged $400 an hour. When I asked about help for my reading, my mother, Priscilla, simply sighed. Dulcie, we've already spent so much on specialists. At some point, we have to accept that some children just aren't academic. I was 12. I believed her. So I learned to adapt alone. Audiobooks became my lifeline. I created my own system of visual notes, colorful diagrams, and flowcharts that let me process information in ways textbooks never could. Every Sunday afternoon, I took the train uptown to Grandma Eleanor's apartment on the Upper West Side. She would sit with me for hours, explaining concepts through stories instead of dry text. "Julie," she once said, her weathered hand covering mine. "You read slower than most, but you see things others miss. That's not a disability, sweetheart. That's a different kind of vision." I didn't fully understand what she meant then, but I would. Christmas, 2018. 20 relatives gathered around the mahogany table in my parents' Upper East Side townhouse. Crystal chandeliers sparkled, catered dinner steamed. The annual performance of Whitford family perfection was in full swing. My father stood at the head of the table, wine glass raised. "I'd like to make an announcement," he said, voice booming with boardroom authority. "Miranda has been accepted to Harvard Law School. Full scholarship." Applause erupted. Miranda blushed with practiced modesty. "My eldest daughter," Gerald continued, beaming, "will be the first Whitford to attend Harvard in 3 generations. She's going to take this family and this company to extraordinary heights." Uncle Richard clapped her on the shoulder. Aunt Catherine dabbed her eyes. Then my father's gaze drifted down the table to me. The warmth evaporated. And Dooley. Well, Dooley is also here. A few relatives chuckled, soft, uncomfortable laughs. Miranda laughed along. I stared at my plate until the roasted lamb blurred through tears I refused to let fall. Under the table, a thin, papery hand found mine. Grandma Eleanor squeezed gently. When I looked up, her eyes held fury directed at her own son. She said nothing then, but 3 months later she called me to her apartment and said she needed to show me something important. That Christmas dinner had set something in motion. It would take 5 years to detonate. After graduating from a state university in 2022, not an Ivy, never an Ivy, I applied for a job at Whitford Properties. I wanted to prove I could contribute. My father hired me as an administrative assistant at $42,000 a year. The same month, Miranda joined as chief legal counsel at $280,000 plus bonuses. My days were photocopying, booking rooms, fetching coffee for executives who never learned my name. I wasn't invited to meetings, but I watched. I listened, and I discovered I could spot patterns others missed. I sketched diagrams of deals in hallways, relationships between parties, flows of money, hidden conflicts. The skill I'd developed to survive dyslexia had become something powerful. Grandma Eleanor had taught me how to read contracts, not word by word, but as living systems, as architecture. In 2019, just before her health declined, she handed me a small mahogany box with brass hinges. "Keep this safe," she said. "Don't open it yet. When you need it, you'll know." March 2019, her apartment. She was 82, frail, but eyes still sharp. "I built Whitford Properties from nothing," she told me. "One office, one secretary, 60 years of work. Your father inherited it. He didn't build it. He doesn't understand what it means to create something." She leaned forward. "I judge people by how they treat those who can't fight back, and you, Dulcie, are the only one in this family who knows how to be kind." She pressed the box into my hands. "When the time comes, when he shows you exactly who he is, you'll know what to do." 18 months later, she was gone. Pancreatic cancer. I held her hand alone in the hospice. The box stayed unopened in my closet. April 2024. The email arrived. Position restructuring, confidential. My job was eliminated effective July 1st. That evening, I overheard my parents through the thin office wall. "Can't have her here when Miranda takes over," my father said. "It looks bad." My mother replied softly, "We've done everything we could. Some children just don't have what it takes." The words sank into my bones like frost. If I let them fire me, I would spend the rest of my life as the family failure. Not because I had failed, but because I had never been given the chance to succeed. Miranda's graduation party was the next day at the Plaza Hotel. 350 guests, 12-piece orchestra, crystal chandeliers. I wore a simple black Zara dress. My mother intercepted me at the entrance. "Table 27, near the service entrance. Tonight is Miranda's night. Don't embarrass us." I sat at the back. My father took the stage. He announced Miranda's Harvard achievements, her clerkship, her partner track job. Then the hammer fell. Effective immediately, Miranda Whitford will inherit my entire estate and the position of CEO of Whitford Properties when I retire. Standing ovation, camera flashes. No one looked at table 27, except one man. Silver-haired, early 60s, gray suit. He walked straight to me. "Miss Whitford, my name is Jonathan Ellis, your grandmother's lawyer. She left something for you, with very specific instructions." He handed me a heavy cream envelope sealed with red wax. "The real will, the one your father doesn't know exists. I was to deliver it on the day he publicly disinherited you." I fled to a quiet hallway near the kitchen and broke the seal. The will was dated September 12, 2019. It revoked all previous documents and bequeathed me 51% of the shares in Whitford Properties LLC, controlling interest, valued at roughly $47 million, plus all voting rights. The reason was written plainly. "This bequest is made with full knowledge of my son Gerald's treatment of Dulcie. She has been excluded, diminished, and denied opportunity not due to lack of ability, but due to lack of support. Dulcie is not slow. Dulcie was abandoned. Condition: I had to request an emergency board meeting within 72 hours or the bequest would become void. 72 hours. Deadline: 8:30 p.m. on May 18th. Jonathan Ellis was waiting. "Your grandmother knew you," he said. "The deadline isn't punishment. It's permission to stop waiting for your family to change their minds." That night, I finally opened the mahogany box. Inside, a handwritten letter, the original 1965 partnership agreement, and a USB drive. Grandma's letter read, "If you're reading this, your father has done exactly what I feared. The USB contains the 2018 board minutes when Gerald tried to strip me of my voting rights. Use this wisely, Dulcie, not for revenge, for justice." I called Margaret Coleman, one of the original board members and my grandmother's oldest friend. She already knew. "You'll need 3 board members to sign the petition. I'm one. I'll get the others." May 17th. Miranda called in fury. "What did you do?" My father stormed past my cubicle and slammed his office door. I heard him on the phone. Dooley? She can barely read a spreadsheet. She's not a threat. I smiled. Being underestimated had finally become my advantage. May 18th, 9:45 a.m., Whitford Tower, 42nd floor. I stepped into the boardroom in a borrowed blazer, leather portfolio in hand. The security guard tried to stop me. Miranda appeared, perfect in a Navy power suit. "What are you doing here?" My father arrived, ice in his voice. "Dulcie, go back to your desk. This doesn't concern you." Margaret Coleman appeared in the doorway. I invited her. She has standing. The boardroom was smaller than I expected. Oval walnut table, 12 leather chairs, portraits on the walls, including Grandma Eleanor's, watching. I sat at the far end. Jonathan Ellis waited in the corner. Margaret yielded her time to me. I stood. My hands were steady. I presented the will. Gerald's face drained of color. Miranda called it a forgery. Jonathan confirmed its authenticity. Then I played the 2018 recording of my father trying to strip his own mother of power. The room went silent. Legal counsel reviewed everything during recess. When they returned, the chairman announced, the will was valid. I was now majority shareholder. I didn't fire my father. I proposed a vote of confidence. 7 hands voted no confidence. Gerald was given 30 days to resign. After the meeting, he cornered me in the corridor. Priscilla beside him, mascara running. "You ungrateful—" I cut him off. "I didn't destroy anything. I told the truth." My mother tried to apologize. I told her the truth had been 28 years of erasure. I walked away. For the first time, I didn't need their permission to leave. Gerald signed his resignation on May 19th. The board appointed an interim CEO and offered me the role of strategic advisor. I accepted a new position I created myself, Director of Sustainable Development. Salary $185,000 plus dividends. I moved into my own apartment in Brooklyn Heights with a view of the bridge Grandma Eleanor had walked across to her first office. Over the following months, the family began to crack open, slowly. My mother apologized over coffee. Miranda started therapy and admitted the golden child cage had been its own prison. We met on park benches and began, haltingly, to see each other as sisters for the first time. Gerald called once a month, polite, careful. We talked about the weather. It wasn't forgiveness yet, but it was honest. On the wall of my new apartment hangs Grandma Eleanor's portrait. Sometimes in the evening light, I can almost see her smile. "You did it, Grandma," I whisper. "You gave me the tools. I just had to be brave enough to use them." 6 months ago, I was invisible. Today, I am finally, fully myself. Dyslexia is not my flaw. It is part of who I am, my visual memory, my patience, my ability to see the hidden architecture of things. The qualities my parents called slow were exactly what let me see the truth when everyone else looked away. My grandmother didn't leave me 51% because I was better than Miranda. She left it to me because she knew I would never let power corrupt me the way it had corrupted my father. She judged worth by character, by kindness, by how people treat those who cannot fight back. And now I get to judge my own worth, by my own standard, my own measure, my own truth. If you have ever been the overlooked one, the dismissed one, the one they said would never amount to anything, know this. You don't need a secret inheritance to prove your value. You only need to give yourself permission to stop seeking approval from people who will never give it. Boundaries are not walls. They are doors. They let you decide who gets access to your life and on what terms. My family hurt me for 28 years, but I didn't need to hurt them back to find peace. I simply stopped waiting for them to see me and started seeing myself. That is the real inheritance my grandmother left me, and nobody can ever take it away.